Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast. I'm talking to you today in what is without doubt the most scenic and beautiful setting for a tech conference that I've ever attended. And to set the scene today, this is an audio podcast, but I want you to picture a mountain village surrounded by the Alps with fresh alpine air, dramatic peaks and winding cobbled streets. Because that's what Austria looks, feels and sounds like. And that's where TechSummit25 has opened its doors. And if you want a sense of just how breathtaking this place is, please head over to my Instagram or social channels at Neil C. Hughes, because I think words only go so far. But for 3 days this week, Alpbach has become the centre of cybersecurity, thanks to Barracuda's gathering. And let me tell you, it isn't your typical conference. This is a mixture of hands-on workshops led by Barracuda engineers. There are keynotes from company visionaries and even the chance to get CGF 350 certified. But equally as important is it's a rare opportunity to connect directly with the product managers, the developers, and everyone involved that shape the tools that many of us rely on. So the theme here is almost specialist for specialists. Great place to get your geek on. And that is clear in every conversation. But against this backdrop, I took the time to sit down with Richard Flanders, Commercial Director at Aura Technology. They are a managed service provider that's based at the south coast of England, and Richard works with both public and commercial clients, often in very highly regulated industry. And he came here not just to learn, but to help shape Barracuda's future as part of its partner advisory board. And I caught him today in queuing for lunch, but before he could sit down and eat his food, I begged him to sit down with me and have a quick chat on the podcast, and thankfully he said yes. And we agreed to sit down and speak about some of the key takeaways from the first day of the sessions here, and explore how regulation is shaping customer demands, the ongoing challenge of that dreaded tool sprawl, and how conversations in the coffee breaks often prove equally as valuable as those official sessions. But before I get today's guest on, I want to give a quick shout out to Careerist, who are the sponsor of Tech Talks Network this month and all 8 shows that we have here. And it's a message that I'm passionate about. So if you've been thinking, I want to work in tech, but I don't know how to code, then this is for you, because Careerist has built up one of the most accessible paths into tech. Their software QA engineering bootcamp is a great example, because in just 4 months, you'll get live training from experts at Google and Meta, not to mention hands-on practice and even a real remote internship to put on your resume. Plus, you'll work one-on-one with a career coach who will make sure that you're job ready. And here's the best part. QA is in huge demand right now. There are 37,000 plus open roles in the US alone, and average starting salaries go up to over $105,000. Now, Careerist graduates are already working at companies all across the country, and if you don't land a job within a year, you even get your money back. That's how confident they are. But seats for the next cohort close very soon, so please check the link in the episode description and see if Careerist is your launch pad into a tech career. But now, let's get today's guest on. So thank you for joining me on the podcast today. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Richard Flanders. I'm the commercial director at an organisation called Aura Technology. We're a managed service provider based on the south coast of England. And we look after both public sector and commercial clients across the UK.
And we find ourselves at the TechSummit25 by Barracuda here in Austria. Stunning location for a tech conference, right?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And probably for the first time where I've been to an event that I've been worried about telling my team where I am because it's that good. So yeah, it's pretty humbling in the surroundings we're in.
And is it your first Tech Summit?
This is my first Tech Summit. So I normally go to the Barracuda Discover events. Been to the last 4 of those now, which happen sort of the beginning of the summer. Commercially focused rather than the tech, which we've got here today.
And what brings you here? What makes you attend this event this year?
Great question. So I'm actually part of the Barracuda Partner Advisory Board. So we have our quarterly meeting tomorrow, and that's where Barracuda choose a number of key partners to work with them strategically on what we want out of the service, new features, new functionality, where the market's going, as well as kind of catching up with some of the new technology for our professional services team, our operations team, and our account management team, really, about how to go sell it.
We're recording this on day one. We've seen a few keynotes. Any big takeaways from those keynotes for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think so far the new Secure Edge service, bringing security to end users, working from home, sitting in Starbucks is really what everyone is doing these days. And the tech has taken a little while to catch up. And just some of the new features and functionality around the XDR solution is really exciting for us to try and protect our customers.
And you mentioned protecting your customers there, and obviously you're here to represent those customers. We're hearing about Barracuda, everything that they're doing. What are you hearing from customers? What do they need? What are they coming and asking for your help with at the moment? Are there any trends around the kind of problems they've had?
Yeah, I think so. So we deal with, as I said, public sector and commercial businesses that primarily heavily regulated, whether financial, hospitals, 999 services, FCA clients, and all of them have really got one thing in common. There's more and more regulation coming in the UK around ISO 27001, Cyber Essentials Plus, and supply chain reporting. So we're now duty bound to make sure that they meet those compliance and regulations, that we can report on it, but also as a supplier for those standards, that we can evidence that we've chosen the right vendors to partner with. And that takes up a lot of time now, and it's getting trickier and trickier to do. So working with someone like Barracuda, where they're a global company, they've got the contracts in place, they've got the documentation, is really helpful to kind of evidencing that to our customers.
And of course, the beauty of any tech conference is not always what happens on stage. It's all those conversations that you have at dinner and coffee breaks and in the evening. Any kind of conversations or themes that you're hearing and having here?
Yeah, really funny, actually. So we have a company we own in India where our network operations center runs for. We have about 30 people in a place called Pune. The first gentleman I spoke to today as another Barracuda partner was born and raised in Pune. And his company sounds really exciting for us. They've created a DevOps platform for migrating basically any product into the Barracuda stack through automation. And that's the beauty of coming to these things. I would never have met this person. And to have such a close relationship with our team out there was just one of those amazing things and coincidence, right?
Yeah. And those moments of serendipity, you don't get it online webinars and online today.
You never get it in a Teams meeting. Those ad hoc conversations or the niceties or where else have you been, what have you seen? You just don't get doing remote stuff. And this is why these things are just so invaluable. And I think for Barracuda especially, to get open access any time of the year, and especially these events, to the senior leadership team is priceless.
Yeah. And of course, a predictable theme here is AI. Any big AI news or tools or anything around AI that interests you or excites you?
Yeah, so we've taken as an organisation a decision this year to heavily invest, I think, as many others are doing in AI. So we're just about to appoint a head AI and automation for our internal systems. We've invested in a AI platform, a private cloud platform, and the usual co-pilot using those. And the time saving is amazing, and the information that it can give you back. And I think it's really going to start benefit businesses. And our ambition is to release a few AI-based apps to our customer base within the next 12 months to help their productivity and efficiency in a secure manner.
And for anybody listening that can't attend this event, what would your big takeaway or when you get home and you talk to your customers, what are you going to be telling them about the kind of things that you learn here? Any big takeaways?
I think it's the evidence that backs up the services that we sell. And I use this analogy that you look back in the day at these sort of 1950s, 60s insurance men that used to go knocking on the doors. And a lot of this is about an insurance policy. And I think the hardest commercial conversation to have with a business is to explain that tangible risk. And is it commercially viable? And should you invest your money? And quite frankly, whether it's right or wrong, no company can really afford every security tool they need. And working with the Barracuda ecosystem and our customers, it's about selecting the right tools for proportionate risks that they can afford, right? What's within their budget. And I think that's the takeaway I will take back from here, is just to go, look, these are the risks, these are the stats that we've been given. And this is where I think you need to focus your pound on to protect yourselves, right? And if you go into that eyes wide open, you do the best you can, because you can't be perfect, right?
Yeah. And the other big theme here is the very real problem of vendor sprawl and tool sprawl. Many businesses listening will have 50, 60 different tools. Any takeaways around that and the solution around that, and alert fatigue and all those other problems that leaders struggle with?
Yeah, I think obviously being a managed service provider, we like shiny new things. And there are a lot of security tools out there. And I think the hardest thing is to get your ROI and value for money back on those. It's a lot of time and investment. I don't think customers realize how much training and education goes into our teams. And I need to manage those platforms to understand them, to deliver them. And I think this sort of ecosystem that's happening with multiple vendors now, where it's a consolidated view, dare I say it, that single pane of glass that you can get, is really helping us get the most out of the tools for the benefit of our customers, and makes it easier to train our staff. It's familiarity. They know where to go. They know what to look for. That helps us with our support overhead. And that means a better response time for our customers, right? And fix time, because someone knows what they're doing.
And I'm curious, from what you're seeing and hearing, are you getting buy-in from the C-suite now, or organisations getting buy-in from the C-suite? Traditionally, there was a reputation that businesses didn't want to invest money when cash is quite tight, when on something that might happen rather than what will happen. Is there an attitude change there now, at last?
I think the attitude change has come from commercial reasons. I think most businesses will do something to make money, or when they're told to, right? You've got the cyber resiliency bill to be published next year. You've got a lot of organizations now mandating to do business with them. You've got to have Cyber Essentials Plus or an ISO standard. And I think back to why did every company always sign off a penetration test? Because PCI DSS said you had to tick the box. A lot of stuff now is becoming a tick box exercise, and therefore it's a reality that you've just got to have it. It's not optional anymore. And if you want to do business with another company in Europe, with a public sector organization, there is no choice anymore. So their hand is being forced, alongside director responsibilities are becoming a lot clearer and I guess fundamental. Like, you can be punished now if something happens to your organization. And I think that's the shift. It's the commercial reasons that's driven it, rather than maybe they've suddenly woken up.
When we talk about the cyber resilience bill coming next year and the wake-up calls, you probably set off a few alarm bells now. What should businesses be doing right now to prepare for this kind of thing?
I think as a service provider, you've got to be educating your customers on security. I think you've got to understand what protections you need to put in place. So that could be your contracts you have with your customers. That could be hold harmless letters if they don't take your recommendations. And it's also making sure that you've got the right tool sets and platforms to patch those customers, to be aware of what's going on, in order that you can advise them correctly. And I guess prove that you've done everything you possibly can for that customer in the event that they unfortunately do have a breach, right? And that sounds really tough, but I think over the years, managed service providers have been the friendly IT company, and we'll just keep that old server running. We'll just fix that old PC in the background because it runs that piece of software that can't be upgraded. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think we've got to get a bit tougher, because it's our name and reputation now, and it's really hard to recover from a reputational kind of issue, even if it's not your fault, right? So I think that's what I encourage people to do, is really take a long, hard look at what you're looking after, have those conversations about end-of-life software, and really explain those differences. And if the customer doesn't want to do it, that's ultimately their choice, but get something in writing.
Yeah, 100%. And you mentioned about getting tougher there. We're talking, I think it's not just about the technology. There's education of staff, the culture within an organisation. I'm curious, are you seeing any good examples of people that are getting cybersecurity training and awareness right in an organisation? And by right, I mean a little bit more than that. annual tick box compliance training that many businesses have. Are you seeing any good examples?
Yeah, I think as many other managed service providers, we sell a security awareness training platform. That's become more and more popular about educating staff and those phishing attacks and running simulations. A lot more organizations now are running sort of DR planning and testing, which you would never see before, like sit in a room and figure out what to do and how IT can help them recover. So there are signs that people realize that the staff are the weakest link most of the time, and they're probably giving them a little bit more time to train and be self-aware. And I think they're a lot more open to us going in and speaking to customers and their staff about like what's really going on. Obviously, everyone still wants to make money, but I think the balance is slightly shifted.
100%. Oh, that's a great moment to end on. Very conscious. We came straight out of a keynote. You were eating it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So for anyone listening who wants to find out more information about you, maybe carry on the conversation, check out your website, etc. Where can people find you?
So you can find us at auratechnology.com. I think my phone number and email address is still on the website. But yeah, look, more than happy to chat. Give us a shout.
Well, I'll put links to everything on the show notes, make it easy for people to find you. But once again, thank you for agreeing to come out here and have a little chat with me.
Thank you, Neil. Cheers. Bye.
That was Richard Flanders from Aura Technology, joining me here outside in the fresh air in the in Alpbach, Austria. And yet we're here at TechSummit25, and what stands out for me, especially in our conversation today, is just how much cybersecurity has come down to trust and proportionate risk. Businesses can't physically every single tool, so they're looking to partners like Aura to help them make the smartest choices. And it's also striking how regulation is no longer on the horizon. It's already here, pushing organisations to act whether they feel ready or not. And conferences like this, the Tech Summit, highlight that while technology moves quickly, human connection matters more than ever. And the stories that Richard shared about chance encounters and shared experiences with other partners is why gathering in person brings so much extra value. Yeah, AI, compliance, vendor consolidation, cultural change. These aren't abstract ideas, especially when you're discussing them with people facing the exact same challenges as you are. So if you'd like to see more of what this event looks like, please remember, check out my social channels, just at Neil C. Hughes, for snapshots of the village and the sessions. And if today's conversation maybe sparked your own curiosity, you can learn more about Richard's work at auratechnology.com, where he continues to help organisations across the UK and beyond stay secure and stay resilient. But before I go, in your own business, how are you balancing that growing list of cybersecurity demands with the need to stay efficient and focused? I'll leave you to ponder on that question, but please let me know. techblogwriter@outlook.com, LinkedIn, X, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. Let's continue the conversation. But that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here now. Time for me to get the flight back home. So just a big thank you for joining me here at TechSummit25. And remember, if you're going to a tech event soon, check out the event page on techtalksnetwork.com. Maybe we can sit and have a coffee too. But that's it for today. So thanks for listening as always. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye for now.